It's only appropriate that after many events in the 2020 Marble League, a marathon would close it out as we get ready for a lot of laps and a lot of potential lead changes and order changes that we've already seen here in the Marble League 2020, sponsored by Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Hey everybody, welcome to the Andromedome. I'm Greg Woods. This difficult track, stretched out as you can see it, nearly 9.5 meters long, looking for around 19-second lap time, and with a lot of laps coming. And these marbles are going to have to be at their fittest to bring it on home. As King Stardust and John Rolliver will get things going here and demonstrate the different lines and the different pathways around this course. Past the chevrons, over the curbs, avoiding the curbs, around that sharp left-hander after the backstretch, then through these flowing S's to take you to the bottom of the course, and that ever-difficult conveyor belt that can make or break a race. There you see the representatives who will be taking part in the qualifying race. No fewer than 7 team captains a part of this one. Where will they end up to start the marathon? Let's run them through this race first. Down they come, and we see the speed difference down that backstretch through the soft right-hander on the sharp left. They descend down here, and it looks like we have a good race developing with the Oceanics and Mellow Yellow already. Mellow Yellow, oh, we got a marble stuck. Red Eye is stuck on the course. And we have a local yellow. Not sure the safety marble will need to be deployed here. Let's see if we can spot Red Eye on the left here. There he is. So that may be a tricky situation here and an odd place to stop, too. We'll have to see what caused that. He gets bumped and they get going again as they come up the belt. That's going to be cause for discussion, I would have to think. A race coming off the conveyor belt. Thunderbolts have the lead over the Oceanics. Mellow Yellow, Balls of Chaos, Savage Speeders coming next. But look at that battle for second place. Oceanics get it, and they're going to hold it. That little bump caused Mellow Yellow to lose a few spots, but immediately they get it back and come across the line. Just a couple of laps to go here. Off the belt, it's the Thunderbolts leading by half a second. Savage Speeders up there. Green Ducks into 6th. Now they lose that out. Balls of Chaos, Hornets, and the O'Rangers up there as well. Thunderbolts lead. Coming down. Oceanics make a little move there, but can't get it to stick. As they come across the line, they do this time. Oceanics get it by 1/10 of a second. 1 lap to go. And this is a very long race that is coming up, so starting order not absolutely crucial, but it's bragging rights right here. We're hearing that there is discussion already about the incident with Red Eye. The coaches are going to be meeting about it. They're going to be meeting with the committee who have the telemetry as we come across the line here. And Red Eye, now that the race is over, is 1 lap behind, but discussion's ongoing. This is not over yet. It seems that the committee may be seeing something a little untoward in how Red Eye came to a stop. The coaches are leaving the committee room now. I think a ruling is coming. We'll see if we can hear it.
In the spirit of good sportsmanship, they unanimously decided it is fairest to start Crazy Cat's eyes higher.
How interesting. All right, so it seems that the stoppage was not Red Eye's fault, and the teams unanimously agreed that given their position in the overall lineup for the Marble League, they want to move them up the starting order to reflect that. That is a great bit of sportsmanship here. They want this to be fair. Remember, this is a very long race, so 1 or 2 spots is not going to matter overall. This is more of a symbolic thing, and that is fantastic to see. But the marathon will decide who wins the Marble League, and they are rolling. Big burst of speed down the backstretch, and we already see a lot of lead changes as they bump off those striped curbs. Through the S's for the first time, and it will be Mellow Yellow out in front. Oceanics had second place, but lost it to the Thunderbolts, but they get it back. Bumblebees also right there as they're going to come off the conveyor belt. Midnight Wisps in 4th. Remember, they need to essentially win this race in order to have a chance. We're going to talk about permutations here in just a second, but let's get settled into the race flow. For now, Balls of Chaos holding in 3rd place, holding off the Bumblebees, and a great challenge there. Midnight Wisps get by in the melee afterward. Mellow Yellow, a clean exit off of the ramp. And down they plunge, but it's closed right up again. Good burst of speed coming from the Bumblebees. They can't take second place there, but they may in just a couple of laps' time. Balls of Chaos, they're also getting in the mix. Minty Maniacs, they're locked in a great battle behind Balls of Chaos as well as they come off the belt. Just 400ths between them. Mellow Yellow still out in front as they descend down the backstretch once again. Loss of speed for the Balls of Chaos, and they're falling back into the clutches of the Minty Maniacs. We're going to talk about who these marbles are as the course of this race goes along as well. So talking about permutations, after the last event, Savage Speeders got up into first place by 5 points. The difference between first and second in the overall points that you get from these events is 25 and then 20, so a 5-point difference. Based on the countback, if O'Rangers win this event, they will win the Marble League. They'll be tied on points, but better on gold medals. Midnight Wisps, the only other team that can win the overall Marble League, they would have to win this event. And, oh, well, that is pertinent as they run right now. So Midnight Wisps would be up there because they need the Savage Speeders farther down the order. They would need them in the lower part of the top 10, and if they fall much below that, second place for the Midnight Wisps, then they need them to finish near last. So we will keep track of where they run and how that would reflect the instant championship standings, but this is a very long race. A decently long lead right now for Mellow Yellow in the classifications. That's come down just a little bit. Midnight Wisps are doing their part to try to cut into this lead. Nobody riding those curbs through the first sector, at least very few. We found that is maybe not the quickest way to go. Also, getting squeezed on the exit after that long backstretch through that left-hander can really put a lot of marbles out of sorts. You got to be careful there. You don't want it to turn into a ramp situation like we've seen in a couple of other events, and you could go flying off this course. Minty Maniacs doing a great job of holding in third place. Bumblebees lose out on fourth to the Green Ducks. Look at this charging up. Here come the Crazy Cat's Eyes into fifth place. They are so humble right now to be included in that order based on what happened. I can tell you the team watching on right now, nervous as can be, but thankful for all of the coaches to let them start where they did. Midnight Wisps take the lead over Mellow Yellow, but only just 7/100ths of a lead, and that's all they had starting into this lap. But Mellow Yellow not going away yet. They're going to be neck and neck as they come up the conveyor belt. Minty Maniacs holding in third, Bumblebees up into fifth behind the Crazy Cat's Eyes, and Mellow Yellow gets the better launch, coming over the start-finish line. Down that ramp with the shark fin that can really knock you one way or another and put you completely out of position down that backstretch. You've got to be careful with how you handle it. Mellow Yellow coming across the line here, 1.78. That's as big a lead as we've seen for quite some time. The Hornets in 6th, Thunderbolts back there in 7th, Oceanics. Look at the Savage Speeders down there in 13th, O'Rangers in 14th. 2 of the top 3 are in the bottom few positions of the order. Thus far, I know we've got a long way to go. We're a third of the way through this. This is the Midnight Wisps perhaps to lose, and that would not be expected given where they started this race in the standings. Mellow Yellow knows that especially in a marathon, a big lead isn't always the best thing that you want to have. You have to have enough energy to make it to the end. That being said, if the Minty Maniacs, who have a little lead over the Midnight Wisp, could get mixed up with them, that's going to let Mellow Yellow off into the distance. And what an event that would be if Mellow Yellow could win the final event after being in dead last in the Marble League for most of this entire championship. Midnight Wisps falling back to 4th. Their little burst of speed to get them up to the front. Maybe they're cooling themselves down a little bit, slowing down to mount a charge later on in this race. Strategies abound. Raspberry Racers bringing up the rear right now. They were an 8th place team in the overall standings. A little disappointing to see them all the way down in last right now, but still, long way to go. The lead has come down quite a bit, just 0.4 of a second between the Minty Maniacs chasing Mellow Yellow. Here comes the speed on the backstretch. They move them around the outside, and Minty Maniacs take the lead. However, we are only halfway through this race. I don't think Mellow Yellow are too concerned at this point. They just don't want them to get an unassailable lead well off into the distance if they can. Bumblebees holding in 3rd place, and then it's the Midnight Wisps. Crazy Cat's Eyes, Oceanics, Balls of Chaos, Hornets, Green Ducks, and Team Momo will round out the top 10. That lead down to just a few lengths between Minty Maniacs and Mellow Yellow. Bumblebees also want to get in the fray. They're going to be one step apart between them coming off the belt. Oh, nice through the first sector. Gets Minty Maniacs. Lead shrunk down to nothing. Mellow Yellow is right there. Perhaps setting them up through these S's. Who can get the better flow coming out of it, and it will be Minty Maniacs still holding on to the lead. Midnight Wisps holding in 4th. I don't think that's going to be good enough for them to win the Marble League at this point. Oceanics in 5th. They need a good finish. Here comes the speed from Mellow Yellow and a dive bomb move. Nobody saw that one coming, certainly not the Minty Maniacs. As The new leader gets on by. Ooh, and a little bit of difficulty coming up the belt. Minty Fresh, I think a little stunned after that. But now, getting back together and makes the move around the outside. Minty Fresh takes the lead over Jelle from Mellow Yellow. Bumble, the captain of the Bumblebees, back there in third place, by the way, for the Oceanics. They're running their captain, Ocean. Midnight Wisps, the championship contenders, have Waspy, as the lead is a quarter of a second for the Midnight Wisps. Everybody pretty spread out. Who was that coming out of nowhere? Was that the Hazers? Great speed down the back stretch there. This is one of those where you have a little bit of time, you can strategize, and the Rangers are doing just that. They're now up into 10th place with 11 laps to go. Midnight Wisps, I think, sweating bullets here, seeing them climbing up the order. I don't know about actually on the track, if those competitors are keeping track, but certainly their teammates are watching the scoring pylon with nervous energy. Past the 7-minute mark in this race. This is so much longer than what many of these marbles have ever done in a competition like this before. Could make or break who can manage their energy the best. A little shoulder from the Bumblebees separates them from Balls of Chaos and Midnight Wisps. That's the new order that they are in. Midnight Wisps falling down to 5th. Then Crazy Cat's Eyes, Oceanics, Team Galactic, Momo, and the O'Rangers. Crazy Cat's Eyes back up into 5th place, coming down the ramp and the backstretch. They are eyeing up Balls of Chaos in front of them. The lead nearly 2 seconds for the Minty Maniacs. Mellow Yellow, they will be happy with 2nd place, certainly, but they got to get there first. And they're going to be 1 length different with the Bumblebees coming off the belt. Bumblebees move to the outside, then back to the end. They put the Mellow Yellow team on the curbs, and they've lost it out. Little change up there. Mellow Yellow does get them back. Minty Maniacs still out in the lead as you see the start-finish line. The speed that they carry coming over it. It's a fine line to walk. How quickly do you try to enter the belt versus taking it easy? Bumblebees may have had a brief look into 2nd place, but they couldn't hold on to it. Minty Maniacs trying to get a full sector ahead of everybody else. This is a good battle developing, by the way. Mellow Yellow, Bumblebees, Crazy Cat's Eyes. And Bumblebees and Crazy Cat's Eyes get by Mellow Yellow, but Mellow Yellow gets them back coming out of the first sector. Down the backstretch, slightly more speed, but they enter that sharp left-hander a little bit worse for wear, and they fall back to 4th. The longer that these fight together, the bigger the lead is going to be for Minty Maniacs. Currently 3.44. That is a massive margin, but as you've seen, things can change dramatically. Minty Maniacs sitting in 4th. They can still get a podium in the overall. They just can't win the Marble League. They would love to end it with a medal and a podium if they can, though. Mellow Yellow fights off Crazy Cat's Eyes and gets by for 2nd place. Cat's Eyes up into 2nd. That was pretty surprising for them, I think, considering how this race could have gone, but they swing around through the first sector and retake 2nd place, only to lose it on the backstretch now. 3-second lead, holding for Minty Maniacs, down into the final few laps, not just of this event, but of the 2020 Marble League overall. Team Galactic, our hosts, up into 5th place, a place they know well. Midnight Wisp back into 6th. That's not going to be enough to win them this Marble League. Oceanics, Balls of Chaos, Momo, Savage Speeders, and the O'Rangers. Those 2 championship contenders have been lockstep for pretty much this entire race, even though they've spent a good chunk of it all the way at the back. They're across the start-finish line here. 31 of 33. A 3-second lead, so it's come down by just a couple of tenths as Crazy Cat's Eyes holds 2nd place. Mellow Yellow trying to stave off the Bumblebees. That might let Midnight Wisps right back into this, but it's far from over. They're going to need a mammoth effort if they want to make a charge at the championship. Savage Speeders are the tentative champions overall. A couple of laps to go. Mellow Yellow coming across. Bumblebees, Galactic. Galactic gets by into 4th place. Minty Maniac's lead is 3 1/4 seconds. It's a huge margin. They just have to keep it clean, and they're going to get a gold medal as they come across into begin the final lap. Cat's Eyes, Mellow Yellow, Team Galactic, Bumblebees. Decent gaps between them. Is anybody going to make a move? Mellow Yellow will, and they'll take 2nd place. They've got a little bit left to try to get up to Minty Maniacs, but I think that lead is not going to be broken. The Minty Maniacs will win the marathon. Minty Fresh, by the way, the first double gold medalist since 2017, and Minty Maniacs, they do get 3rd overall, so they will auto-qualify. And it may be an unconventional 9th place, but the Savage Speeders are your 2020 Marble League champions. Jubilation for the Minty Maniacs. 25 points to them. not going to matter quite as much as this gold medal. They know they can't win the Marble League. Blue Yellow second place, Crazy Cat's Eyes third. The teams are pretty happy about that. And for their efforts, the Minty Maniacs will have a $5,000 donation made in their name to the West Seattle Food Bank, courtesy of Last Week Tonight. But the Savage Speeders are the winners of the Marble League 2020, their second victory after the 2016 Marble League. You obviously have to think that ninth place is not where they envision themselves being to come home with a Marble League championship, but they'll take it. Whatever, it's the overall result that matters most to them. And it's been quite a journey for the Savage Speeders, just jumping the O'Rangers after the last event, a brilliant collision performance, and then to get here and to bring it on home is exactly the way that they planned it out. One of 3 teams with 7 medals overall. That is a pretty phenomenal performance for all of them, just in general. Also, because the Savage Speeders are the overall winners, we've been doing $5,000 donations, but by getting a Marble League championship, a $20,000 donation will be made in their name to the International Rescue Committee. That is pretty amazing. Thank you so much. For Last Week Tonight with John Oliver for sponsoring this. Thank you, wherever you may be, for tuning in. I'm Greg Woods. Until next year, so long, everyone. Enjoy the closing ceremony.